Thank you so much for joining us. I see most of you are, all of you are very experienced, and you have so much, pastoral, ministry experience. So anything that we would be saying, it may not be that new to you, or not that you would have come across. So most of the thing that we'll be sharing, some of the basics of missional communities. When I started this church, a lot of things after the experiences that I had, I thought, oh my God, I should have had training like this. I should have known before. Oh, somebody should have told me before that, I would have done things better. So that is the mindset I had, when I was doing this ministry. So whatever I'm sharing, it is something that we have gone through, experienced. Some of the things that we think today we would not have done when we started this ministry. We never realized how difficult it is going to be, how different and challenging it is going to be, especially the pandemic coming in between. The whole 2 years took things away, a lot of families, but we are good at this stage. So I will quickly go into the discussions. So anytime, if you have a question, I think the moderator will take care of bringing to our notice. You can stop and ask us if you have a question. We have a PPT presentation. I will be doing the first half, and then Sujanna will tell about a few things. We will have a little bit of our video. And then most of the times we'll be discussing things about missional communities. So whatever I remember, whatever I had experienced, and whatever I'm thinking forward, I'm put before you, so that as ministers of Christ, the representatives of the church, and as a better human being, what we could do through the church and the diocese. So that is all that I think about. So I will go into the presentation. You're able to see? Okay. What Whitney Rice has told me is to talk about missional communities, and I put it as a missional community because most of the things that I'm talking is from Faith Christian Church of India. So what we could do successfully, and what the failures or the challenges we had, and what we were before and what we are today. So that is the basic thing that I'm focusing on. So it is basically what we have gone through and what we are hoping in the future. So it is engaging church planting and revitalizing our congregation as commissioned by the gospel. And I'm thinking in the direction of Asian American movement in the Diocese of Missouri. That is my personal. I've not talked to anybody, but that is what, after visiting so many, visiting Asian mission in other states, and also at the national level, I thought, why not this become a movement? So that is what I thought about. And also the mustard seed tree, and then the example that I have taken is something that can shelter people of all diverse community to come and be at one tree. And so the tree could be where the church or Christ or people who would want people of all kind come together. So this is a kind of image that gives me a clarity what I am doing, what Susan and I, or as a Faith Christian Church of India, we do. So this is the basis, but I think it's small enough to care big enough to dare. So this is something, care and dare is something, is the core value of a missional community, particularly Faith Christian Church of India. So that is something that it is there. Otherwise, I don't think we would have moved this far, or what we are looking ahead is because we care, and also we are willing to dare. So the discussion on a missional community, what and why. So this is the basic thing, why we need to have missional community, what and why. And what is this is the basic that I'm talking about. What is a missional community? Reflecting on Faith Christian Church of India, it's a people-loving community. Basically, it is to show the love to people that we are available for them, and it is their choice, and also to make it more visible that we are there. We are here just to love you, whoever you are, or whoever whatever you do. So this is more of a loving community. And also people who join us and people who participate in the mission also become that loving community. And it is an extended community. So that is why it gives more of a privilege and opportunity to go beyond the church, beyond the four walls of the church. So that is the extended community. So as seminarians, as pastors, I think people who are in the community service, you know how important it is to extend in so many ways. This community can be embraced as our own community. It's not just a different community, but it is that we extend our community so that we could embrace. And evangelism with a secular mind is something that is needed in the missional community, because it is so important in today's context, how we interpret evangelism and how we need to go with a secular kind of evangelism. We need to take the love, take that hope into this world. But how secular we can be, secular in the sense so approachable, others can approach to us more than what I take to the community, how they could come to us, how they could look at us. That is also more important, but we need to have that kind of secular mind so that people could come to us. So in this aspect, if you see, we have, when we started, we were very, very narrow-minded. Okay, I'm going to have a prayer group. I'm going to have a worship. That is the mindset I had. But after started the Faith Christian Church of India, and then we moved on to accommodate all the Asian Indian families. So that is what we try to do, because the need is so. We have Pakistani Christians coming to us. We have Hindus, we have a Muslim girl from Uzbekistan, and we have Sri Lankans. So we were able to attract them. They are the people who came to us in a way, we have to say. And then international students, I know international student ministry is in the diocese, and also a lot of people are doing, but we found out their needs are very specific. What they go through is so much, that needs to be addressed. But it is very taxing for us, because even this morning till 3 o'clock, I was with Webster students going around and finding things for them, helping them to get apartments in Eden Seminary. And they were so graciously gave, even without deposit, they gave the accommodation. And so something like we are available and go to them. So the other one is, as it is here, what is that? IT professionals. So the third one is the IT professionals, because we see, especially from the faith Christian point of view, IT professionals are the young couples. So these couples come here either temporarily or permanently they stay in St. Louis. So these professionals are coming away from India, and they start a new life here, or they come from a different state to St. Louis with a different mindset to cope with the context. A lot of things they go through, especially the Asian Indian Christians. They go through a lot. Here I want to point out, Indian Hindus are different from Indian Christians, totally different. So that is a little tricky thing, but still we wanted to address both, all in one stand. Indian Christians, IT professionals, Indian Christians are Indian Hindus, are Indian Muslims. So that is the missional community. That is the need actually provoked us when we met, when we had a confirmation service at Advent Church, Advent Episcopal Church at Crestwood. Bishop Wayne Smith looked at us, saw us, our Indian friends, and we had a song. And then he called us to his office and he asked us, would you interested in doing some ministry here in St. Louis? And then the bishop from my diocese back in India came to St. Louis. He was visiting. So they both joined together and they felt the need of it, that this community needs somebody to spiritually care. So that is how the missional community, what we do has come. And that is what I would like to address on what and why has a wider perspective. Why missional community? Basically, we wanted to be biblical. As I said, if you do something differently, Indian Christians will not join us. They will not join if we do make everything very, okay. So we wanted to be more transparent and we wanted to say this is how. But in general, I would say why missional community? It is basically biblically rooted. That I feel that is how we can make more people come into our, to join our community to do a lot of good things. And then I would say it is culturally identified. We culturally, if you ask some other people why you come to Faith Christian Church of India, they would say, even in the interview that some of our people gave in the Genesis, in the postcast, the national interview, the national church interviewed our church. So some of our people, they were interviewed. So they said it is because culturally they were able to identify with us. So we do a lot of our worship services and things that we do that makes people more comfortable. They long for it. So that's why I said we give an opportunity for them to come to us. I've not talked much of challenges. I will tell you at the end what are the challenges we go through. But here, the basic things that I'm focusing on. And the third one that I would say is practically. So statistically, this is very interesting. This is for any diocese or any church that is looking for missional communities. Definitely, we need to think in this direction because in 2060, the Asian community is going to be the highest of all. The Blacks, Hispanics, white, but in 2040, 2060, it's going to be 46 million Asian Indians. So this is something alarming, how the church needs to look at its mission. So that is why missional communities are very, very essential. It's a hot cake for churches to do ministry. So I think that is very important. And the other interesting factor is the young group of people are Asian Indians, Asian people, US born. 60% are, Gen 6, and then you have 26 millennials. So then if you see the higher number of young people you get among the Asians, especially when you go more statistically, the people who come to church, the younger generation, are Asian Christians. So that is why I say something that the church need to look at it. In this perspective, the future of a church is to look for missional communities. That is very essential. So that is even if you take in my church, the 70 or 90% of our people are very young people, young couple. So that is the difference. Most of them are very, very young, newly married, or they have kids, very young kids. So, but we have disadvantages because if they get better opportunities, they move on to different states. We have to live with that, when they're young, they look for bigger cities, bigger opportunities, more. So they look at those things. So, but when you look at it, this is the whole thing. Mobilizing and implementation, I would say few things I learned out of my experience, and also the basics. The yes is on the right. You have family. If family stands with you, that is the biggest strength. For me, Sujanna and Kevin, biggest strength to do I had that cushion of starting a ministry with them. We three become a church, so we are always available. And if they are more, in a way to help us, music or preaching or whatever, that is the biggest advantage I had. And a core team, definitely we need to have a good number of people helping us. And they are the people who got us through. Even in pandemic, all technology, food, lot of things, arrangements, they do it really well. The core team is, but this core team may change occasionally. We lose some people come, but I would say God never let us down. When we lose a drummer, I always feel sad, or a keyboard player goes away. But you won't believe that in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or in a month, we got exactly or a better drummer, a better pianist. So that has always put us, our faith in God. And networking neighborhood, it is absolutely essential. It takes a lot of time and energy and going and attending programs. So we are connected with so many groups, secular groups, cricket playing groups, different linguistic groups, and international groups. So we networks in so many ways so that we help each other. And place and location is also important. That is how we landed in Baldwin. We asked Bishop Smith a place where we could worship, in a place that more Indians are available, live. So the place, the visibility, I always ask a place where it is attached to a highway. So, and then funding, we need a little bit to go on. Luckily, when I started, I was working in a hospital as a chaplain. So I used all my money for a year. Most of the time I used that. So when I started, there was no money, nothing was there. So it is all my salary that I put in buying things or conducting a program and doing things. So I always go, keep the money reserved and go. I don't go like that. I just go. I always feel money will come. Even in India, it was like that. And here, no, we will always have a call, but we need to be more flexible. The community demands us. So we need to be more flexible with, and limiting to a group. We cannot these are the group and we need to stick to it. We cannot do that. We always have to enlarge, extend our, venues of ministry. And relying on friends and relatives, definitely no. They're not going to be with us. So I've had a tough time believing them they are going to be with me, but it never worked. Waiting for the building, no. We didn't have a building, and we just went. Whoever allowed us to worship, and we are so thankful to Advent Episcopal Church. They were the people who opened to us, and then St. Luke's opened. They were always been good to us. And then enough of resources, it's not going to be enough when we wanted to start a ministry. So it just have to, we just have to jump in. There is no other way. Even now I tell you, the resources that I have, it's not going to be enough. So we just have to move on. And now I hand over to Susan, and then we have a little bit of video and things. We will finish it in another 5 to 6 minutes. After that, we'll have discussions.
Advantages of church planting and renewal. I just wanted to highlight some of the things like what Clive had already said. But moving on to this phase is when we started this church, we didn't have a name. The name actually came from the community, from the people who started to worship at Faith Christian Church of India. So the missional community is not something you go with a preconceived notion of preparing yourself and planning, going and doing. It's actually you try to identify the need of the society, the need of the community there, and then you get started from there. So here, which is why I'm saying that we didn't have a name, and then we just started. It's not that easy, like, because we are like constructed in a way that we plan things and do. But here, this church is emerging into a missional community where the name comes from the community, and the worship style is also very unique. I mean, like, it's a blend and a balance of both tradition and freestyle of worship. And it is multilinguistic because India is again multi-religious, multi-language country. So we have people from all over India attending our, all over India, meaning like at least main languages, people attend our church. So we try to incorporate in our worship the languages, especially in the liturgy or in the songs. And then religious integration also we try to do as much as possible. As Clive mentioned, we live in a neighborhood where we have this Hindus, Indian people. So when they celebrate some festivals or when we celebrate something, we try to invite, they come, we also participate in some of their programs. So religiously we are integrated, meaning that we are united, like in harmony, in doing things together, because religion should not divide, but rather bring them together, because the very core of missional community or a church is love. So, so we try as much as possible to spread, permeate, extend that love to the communities. And then we have this culturally identified, again, different cultures. So how best we can identify and tap those cultures and use it is more important. So we are trying that and engaging with the community. As I said before, cricket is the favorite sport in India. So we have people playing cricket in academy. So we try to be with them, do some community services. In turn, even they come to our church and engage in some of the things we do. So it is more of a praxis, like you do and you do something in action and it comes back in kind of reflection. So that is what as much as we're trying to do here. And advantages of this church planting is it doesn't determine or fix you to a size of a congregation. It can be little. As Clive said, we just started with 3 of us. It's me, Clive, and my son. And then it just grow in numbers, but we were never disappointed. But then God was always with us, helping us out in things that when things seemed very bleak, and it is non-traditional. It is not like typically a denominational kind of setup, because we have people from different denominations worshiping with us. So we need to accommodate everyone in terms of like, the music, the liturgy, even the Eucharist, all those things. So we try to do that. And not necessarily a pastor should be always there, but also a lay leader can take up the leadership in leading the church. And it is bivocational, and it is changeable, meaning that it's flexible enough, like according to the changing times we also change. It's not like fixated and rigid. And Clive always says, even without building, we can just go into the community and do, because building is the people. As long as you're with the people, it's like you're physically in a building kind of thing. So it is, even without a building, you can do a church planting. And now we'll watch the video just to give you an idea like how we worship and in different languages. So after that, we will move on to the next slide.
Found me when I was stuck and lost, like a lamb. My shepherd, my savior, oh, it is my faith, not my sight, no matter what it takes. I can lift the valleys up, I can bring the mountains down. I keep going as he leads, together and forever. Nothing ever so comes, so big I fear. Nothing forever so full I hold. Nothing mightier, so would I hear if it's all for my God. Followed me when I was helpless and lame, like a slave. My master, my hope, it is my faith, not my sight, no matter what it takes. I can lift the valleys up, I can bring the mountains down. It is my faith, not my sight, no matter what it takes. I can lift the valleys up, I can bring the mountains down. I keep going as he leads, together and forever. Nothing truthful, so I believe. Nothing grateful, so wish I remember. Nothing so eternal that will I live if it's all for my Christ. Love me when rejected and ignored, like a cornerstone. My spirit, my strength,
By the way, that is our song. It has been composed by our music leader, and it is our theme song. It was composed, lyrics, everything was done by Faith Christian Church of India.
So working strategy and spiritual progress. The planting the church actually begins with a call. Although you don't have a community or whatever, but the call and commitment is what it takes you to get into a missional aspect, to get into the community, where it helps you to create that in the community. So call to serve people, connected to the community, and being flexible, spiritually motivated, and your availability, approachability, understanding, and change and need situation. As I said before, the need is more important as you plant to transfer, to connect to them, and then you do the mission through the church into the community. And first is planting, then third, you have the people, that is the core team, the care team, and also mapping the resources in the community is more important. So as you work in the community, you come to know like people who are interested. So the human resources are available there. From there, you try and create missional programs according to the need. So we have the prayers and worship, outreach programs, spiritual and pastoral care, and connected to the neighborhood. So these are some of the things that you shuffle and kind of do when you plant.
As I was telling, the church, the whatever we do, we become a church, missional community. As a missional community, we transform into a church meeting every Sunday. But it is basically now we are moving towards a community, and then as a movement, it has to become a movement. So now we have African mission, TPE started a mission. So I feel that is how it has to, Chinese, Korean, so it has to spread like that. And Bishop Dion is very particular about it. And he is, encouraging people, inviting people. That is one of the wonderful things that are happening in the diocese. So it has to become, I've taken few quotes, what the Episcopal Church talks about. New Episcopal community talks of missional community is service, justice, and mercy, grounded on faith, but not necessarily you can do ministry without that also, but guided by love, connected to an Episcopal diocese if we are going to do through the diocese. And we can find innovative ways, unite individuals who speak spiritual or missional community. I found this one down is so interesting, ministering creativity in new, fresh ways to people in our communities where they are working, eating, playing is a mark of new missional community outreach, which sometimes lead to the development of a new faith community. That is what we have become. So this is the very, very thing about Faith Christian Church of India. We as a missional community, and now we stand as a faith community, but moving towards a kind of movement in the diocese and also in the national level. So we finished it, Susan and I, whatever we could bring things together. So more than asking like question, I thought who's willing and who's ready. So you can ask questions. We are very well here to talk about it.
Joe Riley. Question.
Yes.
What are your connections? Do you maintain connections with, I would say, the home country, with India, and with people incoming?
Yes, definitely. We are connected with our local church in India. So whenever some people are coming to US, we know sometimes, and we have we are very conscious of it. Not only in India, even in other parts of the states in US, we have told the pastors, if somebody is coming to St. Louis, please let us know. So we have that connection all at different levels with the bishop, with the church, with the people. That helps us in so many ways. Thank you for asking. Yes.
Well, I have an ulterior motive.
What is it?
Among the people I worked with was a Goan Christian. I worked with him in Saudi Arabia for about 6 years. And he discussed with me at length some of the problems they had, both in India and, of course, in Saudi Arabia. So if we could, you could especially, tap into the incoming people. We know why the Hindi revanchist movement is so anti-Christian, because Christianity is so attractive to the people of India for the same reason that was attractive in the first century. Away. But anyway, I won't go there. But my point is, do we have any contacts like that we could, help incoming people, meet them, assist them, and hopefully, well, when you do good things, good people come. What can I say?
Yes, very much. We always look for that because in India, the way evangelism is a very different thing, very transparent. And so we do that when we have families like that, regardless of what faith they are, we go and help them, try to find the support. And eventually that is how we got some of the Hindu families coming to us. So some of the families, even they keep the Christmas tree, they call me to come and pray for the Christmas tree. So I tell them, no, I don't pray for the Christmas tree. It has nothing to do. So yes, thank you so much. Yes, we do that. We always keep our eyes, ears, and contacts.
And what can the diocese do to assist?
So I was just thinking, see, people who come to Faith Christian Church of India, when they get to meet new people, when they bump into other Indians, so like word of mouth they tell. Or if you search for an Indian church, probably it will pop up on the website, But from the diocesan level, probably they have to kind of put it somewhere that, they can reach to this church, Indian church, or connect us somewhere. So there should be something that connects people to our church. So kind of
does the diocese have any Hindi speakers or?
No, I don't think Hindi speakers, no.
Okay, thank you.
Our church has Hindi speaking. We have about 3 or 4 people attend our church. They speak Hindi.
And Bangla and yada. But now my point is, what can we do? Because some of this is resources.
Yes.
I have to go to convention tomorrow. My questions are loaded. So thank you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is why we did not name our church on the basis of one language. We kept it as India. So that is why we have Hindi speaker. Yes.
With what? How many? I forget how many languages and dialects in India.
We have about 360 languages, and then we have dialects, different dialects.
That's my point.
It's a language, 360 languages with script.
Which is why the quote lingua franca is English. Anyway, thank you, sir.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, can I say that it's not just your dedication to this, but it's just so smart about how you've approached it. And I think you've approached it, and then tell me if I'm wrong about this, but you look for getting people to be feeling of belonging first. You make them, it's a community in which they belong. And then that community does ministry to folks And then that's where your emphasis is on the belonging and the service. And then you just depend on the Holy Spirit to create the believing after that. That so many times people have approached it wrong. You have to have the believing first. But I think that, have I heard this right? Is that how you're approaching it, from belonging, service, and then just depend on the believing to come later?
Yeah.
Yes, very much. That's right. Yeah, we wanted the people, to come here, and they should belong to the community. So that is how. But then we wanted our dependency is on God and the Spirit. So without that, I always tell that courage and the risk taking is always the power of the Holy Spirit. So people coming to us, it's through faith and the presence of the Holy Spirit. You're right, Jedi. Thank you.
I think you're just spot on. I
Yes.
really am supportive and encourage you to keep it up.
Yeah.
And that belongingness also is like you create that space for them where they can affirm themselves, where they can be comfortable, so they really feel good coming to the church because they belong to one another. They can actually worship in their language. So the many components, aspects to it, like when we say belonging, so it's a whole package kind of thing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, every Sunday is like a Pentecost for us because different languages. And also we'll be very noisy singing and making people, and also we come back to the same kind of, usual worship. And we are from Anglican background, so we give that feeling also.
Oh.
Hi, Suzanne and Clive.
Hi,
I really like the way you included the parish members in your community to take ownership to name the church.
Yes.
And to develop their music and their cultural ways as team building within your community. I think that's a very strong point. And so I think there's a sense of comfort that's felt, and then genuine acceptance of both of you, of them, and kind of evolving with them in the way the church would flow and develop. So congratulations, what a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're journeying with them.
They trouble us a lot sometimes.
So I just want to echo what others have said, that what you've done is well, obviously so spirit driven and so impressive. That you can see in the pictures the sense of community and joy that people are having in one another's presence and in worshiping God. I would think that there would be some challenges. I mean, I'm thinking about doing a Bible study where people have the Bible in various languages who might have very different translations. Can you talk a little bit about where have you had some sort of rubbing edges that have that you've either learned from or you said you would talk to us about challenges, so I'm interested in that.
Yeah, at the end, I wanted to say a few things
Okay.
about what are the challenges we had. Yes, the thing is, people are from a different languages, linguistic background and denominational background. Linguistic background in a different languages was not a big problem. She speaks a different language. And also we use our lay people in a way that we could acquaint to that. So we have Kannada speaking people, we have Marathi speaking people, we have Malayalam speaking people. So we use our lay people to connect with them. But the advantage is all of them can speak English, but they are more comfortable with their languages. So every Sunday we will use a different kind of languages in singing and doing things. But still, we always have the fear, who's going to leave, who's going to not feel. Sometimes we go on one side of her language people or my language people. any small problem comes, they think, oh, Clive supports only his language speaking people. That is one we always, we realize, okay, this is how it's going to be. But we will be faithful in loving everybody, and we'll go on. And the other one is denominational is it's a difficult thing. That is why we keep like non-traditional. Once they hear about Episcopal or something, you know, Lutheran, so they people you know, they fall apart. They all, it is so difficult to bring them together. Denominationally bringing people together, because they're all very conventional, very orthodox, you know, in so many ways. Sometimes I get frustrated with them. They don't get into the Bible, but they don't really, you know, love people. They just go Pentecostal or Assemblies of God. That is a big challenge for us. But that's the way the church is going to be. And the other thing is people come and go. That hurts us. We become so close to them, and they go to different states. And that really is difficult for us. We lose a really resourceful person, a worship leader, a music person, or somebody who can be a right hand to me in conducting Bible studies. So these are the things we have, challenges, especially when we have Bible studies. That's why if you see Advent seasons or in Lenten season, I use different language speaking people. I don't preach. So I make people, all the 25 days, different language speaking people will be doing the worship. So I don't preach every Sunday. I don't lead the worship every Sunday, but my presence, sometimes people will come tell, Pastor, you have to do it. You speak, we come for you. So we take up from there. So these are the things we have, difficult things, and also other issues as Indians, as you know, diverse group. We have other pressures and compulsions we have, but still we believe in God, and with what God can do, and the support of the diocese and the bishop and the national church, and also the clergy fraternity and the family. They really encourage us. They give us hope. So it is a struggle, it is a hardship, and it is a risk. I always tell Latipe or other people who wanted to start ministry like us, no turning back. Once you start, you have to go no matter what it is. You know, you just have to keep going. So it is tough, Sally. You know that in Francis, how much you have done, go door to door and
Yes.
making people to come to church. I was so excited when I heard the ministry that you did in St. Francis, going to people's house to house and bringing them.
Yeah. Well, again, kudos to both of you, and of course,
Thank you.
glory to God. But it's just so exciting, and I'm so grateful for all you do.
Thank you, Sally.
And also, our worship style is not typically a type of worship, because given the fact we have children, the younger kids, so they really wanted to enjoy the music. And then now a couple of kids are learning instruments, and they're playing the piano and drums. So the music kind of invigorates them, you know, gives them that energy, that interest and joy to come to church. And sometimes because of kids, parents come to church. So that happens. So which is why, like, it's hard to just make it denominational. So we just keep giving that variety all the time, like, no, change the style of worship to just accommodate everyone.
Yeah, we are very chaotic, noisy, makes lots of mistakes. I always tell, please bear with us.
If I could quote the Reverend Sally Reaver, there are no mistakes.
That's right. Yes.
We're all humans. We have to make mistakes.
There are no mistakes in liturgy.
There are no mistakes in worship. That's exactly right. There are no mistakes in worship.
Well, this has been really, really wonderful. We're almost at the end of our time. Clive and Susanna, thank you so much for sharing uh, what you've gone through, what you're going through, how you're, that's a great picture. And I couldn't help but wonder as I'm listening, I mean, obviously you guys have a very direct interest in going for, you know, Asian, Indian population, and Tipe has his interest in going for an African diaspora. I'm wondering what we have in our communities that, you know, that the people that are there, like what you guys said, you know, you didn't build something and then want the people to come to that specifically. You let the community kind of, you built the community around them. And I wonder if we tried to do that more in our established parishes, you know, where would we, how could we grow by putting that into practice as well as continuing to open up to new communities, but to look inside where we already are and employ the same kind of practices. I don't know, something to think about, huh?
Yes,
So-
definitely. Yes, very true. There are already churches, they can think of more ministries. They need to get connected to. I feel the problem with, in today's context, we are what we can offer to the community. So the less and less that we, you know, in our what we could offer to the community, we may have more challenges.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this presentation, and thanks to everybody for coming. And I would like to tell you all that this lovely backdrop that I'm in is the Doubletree Hotel in Chesterfield. We are getting ready for convention. We've been here all day setting up. And these Zooms tonight are just the beginning to get us kicked off and thinking about our life together, celebrating our life together as a community. And so for those of you who are delegates, registration begins at noon tomorrow. Don't forget. And if you are not a delegate, we're not live streaming the whole thing, but we're live streaming the fun parts at 6 p.m. There will be a live stream, which will have the bishop's medals and our keynote speaker. It's really, really good this year. You're going to want to tune in for that. And then on Saturday morning, we'll have our convention Eucharist, which will include Bishop Dion's address. And a dancer from Faith Christian Church of India. So be sure to tune in for that. But for those of you who are coming, can't wait to see you. And thank you all for being here tonight. And I'm sure that our wonderful presenters are available if anybody ever wants to talk more personally, one-on-one or one-on-two. And so please don't hesitate to reach out and learn more. Thank you all so much. Have a great evening, and we'll see you at convention.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.